Pushkin.
My whole life is fuck it mode. My whole life is like back against the wall, like there's only like one way out, like to come out like kicking and punching. Do you know what I mean?
If you had to go back and think about it, when was the first like fuck it moment? Like when did that become a staple of
the whole of my life? Like I've always had, yeah. My stepdad said to me the other day, like he's known me for the whole of my life. He was like, you've spent your whole life in fight or flight. Yeah, he was like, you've just like ever since a kid, you've been in like fight or flight. Like it's just been like, I don't know, like maybe a combination of like the way my life has been, the stress of being an artist, you know?
Yeah.
Like even going on stage is fight or flight, you know, like it's kind of, do you freeze in front of an audience or do you come out kicking and screaming? It's like everything. Like even going on tour is fight or flight. Like even doing like a massive project, you have that moment like before a big shoot or anything where you're just like, am I going to be able to do this tomorrow?
And there's got to be, like an album, there's got to be at some point where you're like, okay, I've been tinkering or working for years. This like has to work at some point. Like this has to be the thing, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm going through it now. Like I'm at that point when I was speaking to a director last night and we were talking about the moment when you're at that point in a project where you've swam out so far that you can't see the island behind you, but you can't see the island in front of you. And I'm literally there right now.
yeah.
Like with my next music project, I'm there. Like I can't see the island behind me and I can't see the island in front of me. And I'm just like, do you like bolt back and think like, don't worry, do you know what I mean? Or,
Safety?
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
or do you like go forward and finish it?
Are you one of those people, like I've heard people say, like, performing live, you get butterflies or you get extreme anxiety or whatever the range of degrees of that is.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people who are addicted to that, almost like adrenaline, as like an adrenaline junkie. Does it feel good? Do you enjoy that feeling?
I change it around in my head. So sometimes when I'm really nervous, you know, you're doing a big show, especially some of the festivals I did last year, like I'm performing in front of 80,000 people and you peek around the cut and you think, whose idea was this? I always think that. I'm sorry, who said this is a good idea? And I'll get really nervous. And then I always say to myself in my head, no, it's not that I'm nervous. I'm so excited. And I've like got these amazing dance moves and I've been practicing so much and I'm so excited to show everybody this thing that I've got. And then I try and psychologically say like, I'm not nervous, I'm not scared, I'm excited to show what I've been practicing. Like that feeling, you know, when you're a kid and you have learnt chopsticks on the piano and you're like, Mum, what's this? You know, like that kind of feeling where, or you have a picture you've done at school and you want to come home and you're like, look at this, you know, it's like that feeling. I try and make myself think it's that. And it works. It does work.
That's a great trick.
Yeah, you're just excited to show people. Like you can't wait to get out there and show people.
And then by the time you're on stage, are you super in your body, super conscious of everything that's happening, or does it just rush by unconsciously?
I think for me the first song is always a bit jelly legs. Like sometimes I just feel a bit like not centered in the first number. Like usually with my shows, because I know for me the first song is a bit tentative, I tend to start very slow. And then EUSEXUA, I thought, I'm going to try something different and I'm going to start with the biggest dance number. So I started with Perfect Stranger, which is like the poppiest song and the biggest dance number that required, I mean, it's not like a super difficult dance routine, but it's like precise because you're dancing with 10 people doing everything the same. So there's not really like a lot of room to like mess up. And that was really interesting. I definitely learned a lot making myself go to 100 first. But now in Body High, I'm not going to do that.
Well, you're not?
No, now I'm going to... Actually, do you know what? It is still 100 for me because Body High, my next tour, I'm going to start like playing instruments, which is something that I've never done on stage before. So I guess there will be like a lot of nerves, but I think I'm just forcing myself to like get over a new thing.
Is that because you need to play instruments on this one, or is it just you want to? You feel what would compel you to want to do that at this point?
Because I play instruments in a non-conventional sense in the studio, and it's how I produce, like drum machines and pads and analog instruments and noises, and I kind of like push them together into some sort of resemblance of something that sounds like a music or a beat. But I've never done it before on stage, and I think I'm reaching a point where I'm searching for autonomy as well, even as an artist, because I've never been able to do this thing where it's like, if you were like, Twigs, will you come and perform at like my wedding tomorrow?
Yeah.
I would have to call a pianist or call my band or say, I need to check who's free,
right,
you know, to like help support me in that. Whereas I have the skill set and the ability to be able to do a set by myself, but it's been 15 years and I've never tested that. So on Body High, I just decided that I was going to start testing that theory of playing instruments the way that I do in the studio. But I've also got an amazing MD. His name's Matt, who is helping me find my way of doing that, like by triggering things and relating my in-studio process to something that is on stage and makes sense, like beyond playing an acoustic guitar or playing the piano, how most like traditional musicians would do that.
So are these going to be songs off of Afterglow, or
it's the whole of my discography?
Really?
Yeah, it's everything. I mean, I've been doing this now for 15 years. It's amazing because there's a song for every mood, and I think I've realized like how diverse my music is, and that's been really eye-opening to me as well, to realize how many different tempos and genres, and you know, I've really over the last 15 years created like such a vast sonic palette, and I'm learning a lot about myself. I feel like humbled by the amount of music I've created in different ways. I didn't even realize it until putting together Body High, because Body High the tour, there's lots of different sides to me. I can like dance and be a pop star in that sense and do those big group numbers, but then there's also some really experimental electronic music, you know, completely like genre defying sounds, and it's industrial and it's moody, and then there's a lot of like sensual music, and then there's music that is inherent to who I am, like dancehall and bashment and more rhythms that are associated with the music I was brought up on and my own black culture, and like there is a full picture of who I am as a person, which is so cool.
It's wild. I couldn't. It kind of. I went back and listened to like your whole discography to
Did
do
you?
this, and I hadn't done like I'd never done that just in one sitting.
Wow.
But you say 15 years, and it did kind of shock me because, and it's not that it's also that there's been a lot of eras of the music business since you've been around. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of permutations of what music is, or how people receive it or listen to it, or how it's distinct.
Totally.
You know, like you kind of first came out sort of in a pre-Spotify world. You know?
Sort of. It was.
It was, right?
I mean, I literally remember my manager at the time calling me and being like, there's this thing, it's like music streaming platforms, like you don't have to go on it, but like artists are going on it now if you want to. And I was just kind of like, I mean, yeah, sure, if you think so. I mean, I literally remember that conversation of just like, it's something that like I could potentially opt out of and it's not that much of a big deal. Cut to now, that seems like a hilarious conversation to have, like opting out of streaming because it's not that relevant, you know. And I think I was probably quite late even to going on it.
Really?
I think so. Like, I just don't remember it being a big part of like my first record. And it was only really when I did Magdalene that I kind of realized that I'd like not been working it. Like
working the system.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't have any monthly listeners. Because I'd like not been working it, whereas there's been other artists. I'm probably going to get this wrong. I'll probably be like corrected, whatever. But like, I think Frank Ocean had done some deal with Apple or some streaming thing.
He did a deal though, but I don't think it was.
But I don't know, he'd done something with streaming, or like artists were at that time doing things with like exclusively giving things.
He did something. His album was exclusively on Apple, I think, for like a week. I think it was something like that.
But kind of Blonde, just working it like that, like making everyone swarm to this one place to like support that platform. Or I can't remember. I just remember like artists were like doing cool things, and the platforms were kind of like paying people to create, you know, things. It's like in that early time, it's like, you know, if you don't get on TikTok or something in the beginning, then like it's just really hard to like get on it afterwards.
Were you on TikTok at the beginning? Because that was the other like big, you know, like social...
I was like, what is it? I still am terrible at it.
Do you care about it?
I mean, I think I'm supposed to. Like, I try. I'm so bad at it. Like, I mean, the truth is, honestly, like the truth is, I'm literally almost 40, and like, I just like the. I'm just like, I'm just like, I mean, I do it like it's fun if I feel to. Like, I mean,
you like to dance, you love, but
I like to dance in like I'm gonna train wushu sword for like I'm gonna like become a black belt at, or I like to dance like I'm gonna become a pole dancer, and there's this trick where you like hang off your ankle and like hold on to your foot and fucking spin around. And, you know, like I'm like I don't even like to dance. I like to just do very extreme things with my body under my rules of things that I want to do. In terms of like TikTok dancing, like it's a very like specific way of moving because you don't really like move your body. And I'm not from that school.
When you say you don't have to move your body, it looks like you have to move your body. My daughter tries to teach me TikTok dances, and I can't move my body.
This is how I see it. And like, you know, I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, because I'm from more old school dancing. Like, I started like jazz dancing or like doing tap.
Okay.
Or like ballet or something. And when I did even like street dance and hip hop, we're talking about the era of, I'm trying to think when it was. Like, when I was a teenager and I was learning hip hop dance, we're talking about like early Chris Brown or something like that. It's kind of like in the wake of kind of like Michael Jackson, like that kind of way.
The post-Michael.
Yeah, it's like the post-Michael like R&B wave of dancing, which is even, I mean, in the most pop sense that I'm thinking of, you could even imagine like Aaliyah or like Destiny's Child or that kind of way of dancing. That's when I was coming up learning commercial dancing. Which is one thing, but okay, so like this is the way I describe it. I'm probably going to sound so crazy, but like to dance a TikTok dance, it's like making your head like the center of the screen. So it's like this way of dancing where like you don't like
the movement is limited to the frame, which is
exactly. Okay. So it's like really interesting for me because I just don't move in that way because like I'm just from a different time. So
a time when you weren't worried about being in the fucking frame.
Yeah,
probably.
You don't have to worry about being the frame because we didn't film ourselves doing it. You know, I'm from like an era of when I was training to be a dancer, I would go to class the way that you see kids going to class now, but you wouldn't film the end of class, whereas now it's completely normal and they have these like amazing like sticks
the things that like they
and it's like really smooth. It's like a
like a music video. It looks
like
a music
video.
It
looks so good.
Little X, like, you know what I mean?
And you do like a move and the camera shakes and stuff. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's good. If anything, like I genuinely do think it's good. It's just that like I'm so like in my era of being like a mover, I'm so past thinking about that. Like I'm literally at a point in my movement development where I'm like body mobility and safety when movement is very important to me. So I'm very much kind of like, how do I keep spine mobility into my 40s and how do I do like hip opening exercises and how do I safely go onto the floor and how do I keep my flexibility and the movements that I'm doing, like even on the pole. I'm really thinking about like, oh, when I did that back movement, I feel like I'm moving too much in my lumbar spine. Like how do I find extra movement in my like upper shoulders to support the flexibility that I have in my middle back, which I don't want to rely on so that I can keep on doing this for 10 years. And like I'm so in another part of my journey as a mover to donate my time to doing TikTok dances, which is fine. That is fucking so cool, actually. But I just like can't do it, and I can't do that and do that. I have to do my hip opening exercises more than I have to do a TikTok.
That'd be a great TikTok page though, probably. Because I'm trying to do the same thing. Like I was just telling my guy Ben here, I'm like, I haven't run in 14 months, not because I don't love to run, but because I keep fucking my hip up or my ankle.
Running,
or my knee.
Like that's something for another period of life, like not running.
Yeah, but I have no other way to get like my fucking
walking uphill on a treadmill. Yes, I'm telling you.
It doesn't.
No, it's just quite meditative. And it's good. Mm-hmm. Like if you've got like knee, hip issues, it's like walking uphill on a treadmill, 40 minutes. Put on a podcast.
Put on this podcast.
Yeah, put on this podcast.
I'm glad you're talking about this. I was starting to feel old.
No, it's not old. It's like fucking amazing.
No,
like,
You're right.
I feel so young. I'm getting younger in many ways.
I feel younger than I've ever felt.
I feel younger, but that's what old people.
Don't say that. That is true. I thought really I was, because when I was young, I used to think I was old. Like I really thought of it.
Me too.
I have a friend. I tell her all the time. Like she's like now like doing really great in music. But I remember in college, like we were graduating college, and she bought a fucking keyboard. And I remember looking at her being like, the fuck are you doing? Like, we're past this. Like, we gotta go figure life out.
Yeah.
And then like now she's killing it, and I'm like, how dumb was I? Like, I felt like we were. I thought we were like middle aged at that point.
Me
you know,
too,
but
yeah.
you know, did you had that same?
Yeah, I had that same thing too. Yeah, 100%.
How did you get past that to actually then applying yourself to create and make things and have a go at a career and like?
I mean, I speak about it. I'm trying to meet this cross section where I look young, feel young, like I'm within youth culture, which I still am, and like I'm becoming more wise and I'm learning my lessons and I'm like not a fucking idiot anymore. And if I can like hit that cross section where I'm like sexy and fresh and I'm not an idiot, you know, and I can feel it coming. Like I'm literally like, I'm like, come on. And then when I hit that cross section, you know, like it's like, it's not that I feel old or young. For me, it's about like learning my lessons in life, not repeating patterns, developing as a friend, an artist, a daughter, a girlfriend, whatever it is I need to do in my personal life and my mind, and keeping my relationship with myself healthy, which is obviously in this industry very hard to do. Yeah. If I can do that and still be having new ideas as a artist, still be affecting culture, still be, you know, I like leading ideas, ways of making music, ways of moving. Yeah. Like I don't mind being like the first at things and people not quite understanding it straight away. Like I'm really okay with that. That makes me very excited to kind of be a part of, like, even sometimes just a droplet of inventing a new sound or a new moment in an era or a decade. Right. I feel so lucky. I mean, with EUSEXUA, I feel so lucky because I feel that it's like made its mark in this era of time, and so to be able to have done that in like 2012 and then to be able to be a part of the conversation again in 2026 is like incredible, you know. So and then it's not about age, then it's about development as a person and as an artist, and it's about growth. Yeah You know, listening to your discography makes me think of certain people. I didn't really connect the dots, but those people probably are people who perhaps had similar approaches, you know, like Prince, you know, when you think about how he was never quite chasing youth culture, chasing being cool. He was just off doing his fucking thing, and you caught up or you didn't, or you moved along. And Madonna, same thing. Like, I don't think, you know, I don't want to speak for these people or speak for you, but it seems like they had similar modes of creating and relating to themselves as people and creative people, probably the same, you know? I know you have his daughter on EUSEXUA, which is super cool. Yeah, that's the best. I think that the difference is back in the day, artists had a lot of time to develop. Like, even when you look at Prince, like, he had a few records that he released, or Bowie, there were records that were released that only became popular after they blew up. Yeah. You know, and I think, I'm probably going to get this so wrong, but I think like Bowie did Let's Dance, and I think he was like maybe 40 or like, I think he
80,
was
81, 82.
Yeah, I think he was like in his 40s and he did Let's Dance, and that was like a huge hit for him. And I think that was such like a breakthrough moment for him as an artist to like enter into like the living rooms of like many nations, and that was completely normal then. I think even like Elton John had released like a few records that, you know, his fans like, but then he later on, like, he then started having like the big hits, and there's just this time that artists back in the day.
No, it's great. No, but it's crazy too, because I mean, like, there was like a bunch of records too that we love now. That, I mean, like Diamond Dogs. Yeah. No, commercially and critically. Yeah, but you find young Americans, no one gave a fuck. You know, critically. Exactly. You know, like.
Exactly, but then you discover them after they have like their big hit or whatever, and you can go back and you can see this like breadth of work, and that's the artists back in the day had that time to develop. So for me, I still feel like a new artist because I've still not had my Let's Dance yet. I've still not had that moment yet.
This feels like a Let's Dance in a way. Like, I mean, no. Okay. No. What would make it feel like that's what your like that moment is?
For artists like myself that tend to either be like very like off center of the curve or like sometimes like too ahead of the curve, it's a kind of magical universal gift that's slightly out of your hands, that culture and what you're doing hit at the same time. Yeah. And you can't really control it. You know, you can't actually like quite control that, like the cultural consciousness and narrative needs exactly what you're doing at that time. Right. And then that's the moment. Right. Like I've actually not had that moment. I'm either like way off to the left or like I'm almost a bit too ahead of it sometimes with sounds or with ideas. And that's so fine. Like, honestly, I love my career so much. Like, if this is what it is for me, like, I'm so blessed. I'm so happy. But Bowie or Bowie. What do you say, Bowie or Bowie?
I say Bowie, but I think in the UK it's Bowie, which is, unless you have it, I'm not going to.
Okay, they're like tomato. Okay, so Bowie, like, you know, he had that moment with Let's Dance, or Bjork had, like, It's Oh So Quiet. Yeah. And it's not the, what is that? Is it Oh So Quiet, the Bjork song? Is that what it's actually called? Or is it Shush?
I'm really bad with song names, but
it's Shh. Okay, Shush, Oh So Quiet.
But Also Quiet's in the title, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Shush, Oh So Quiet for Bjork, it's not that song is like better or worse than any of the rest of her songs before that. It's that at that point, with that video that I think Spike Jonze directed, that is what culture needed to put her on the world stage. Yeah. And when I was a kid, that was actually the first time I'd heard of Bjork. You know, because I was a kid. I mean, I can't remember. I think I was like in my early teens maybe when that came out, or when I became aware of it. But then that was the entry point to something way, 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 way deeper. Yeah. But she just had that more like global moment because that's just what culture needed, and that's what it latched onto. But no,
it's amazing though too, like that, because there are some artists who have that moment that you're talking about, and then chase it, or that's what now they think they need to do. And then there are people like Bjork, like Bowie, who have it and it's great, and they just keep on their path. Stay weird, you know? Yeah, stay weird, you know? Yeah. Maybe Neil Young's the same, right? Like had a ton of misses, and then early 90s has Harvest Moon or whatever, you know, and that's like, you know, what he's again in his 40s or 50s even, and like that's probably the song he's most known for at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Quincy Jones has that Thriller in his 50, you know.
Do you know what I'm saying? Exactly, but it takes that long. Like, it's just about learning your craft, and I've learned so much, and I've had to have weird moments in my musical journey that I feel kind of like were like off kilter for me, but those weird moments have made the moments that have worked possible, because I've learned how to structure a song, or I've learned how to EQ a drum, or I've learned about a rhythm that I hadn't done before. And sometimes it's just about a few tries. You know, sometimes you try a song and you think, it doesn't quite work, but you release it because, you know, you release it, you think, okay. And then you actually like almost do that song again, but better. Wow. Like 2 or 3 years later. It's like the same song. It's the same DNA of the song, and you do it later, and then that's the one that works. It's so strange how that works, but you had to have the kind of not so good version before for the next one to kind of hit.
Is there an example of that stands out to you?
I think like as a project, Capri Songs, I mean, it was never like album, it's like a mixtape.
I didn't realize it was a mixtape until...
Yeah, it's a mixtape.
Till this week. I thought that was an album.
No, it's a mixtape. I mean, I made it quick. It's like with Afterglow for me as well. Like, these are projects that I make quite quickly and in a different way to how I make like my records. But there's a lot of like experimentation. But Capri Songs kind of taught me how to write better songs. Even though there's not necessarily like even well-written songs, particularly on Capri Songs. It's just,
don't know. What?
No,
really?
but it's just like a bit hookier. Like it's just like there's Capri Songs. It's like there's more hooks on it. They might not be in the right order. Like the hooks probably aren't in the right order for like an amazing pop song. But I just learned like, oh, I found my way to repeat a melody and do it in my way, because in my usual songwriting, I don't give a fuck. I'll do a different melody for the verse, the pre, and the chorus will only happen once, because why not? You know, but do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like sometimes I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But with Capri Songs, I learn about structure. I learn about like minimalism within sounds that maybe are like more palatable to audiences. And for me, it's like testing what I'm okay with. because sometimes when something's too like palatable or normal, I'm like, okay, not for me. Like I've lost my place in this now. Like this is for someone else to do very well.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to do that. But Capri Songs at the time was about me because I'd just come off Magdalene,
which was an amazing,
which was like, you know, kind of psychedelic. But then Capri Songs, I'm like testing, like, am I comfortable with a drum that doesn't change throughout a whole song? I don't know. I've not done that before. My drums change all the time. So am I comfortable with a rhythm that stays the same? Am I comfortable with a repeating bass line? And I have to like test it, and I think, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that rhythm. I can do a structure that is like verse pre-chorus, verse pre-chorus. Like I'm okay with that. But it's not. It's like an experiment. And Capri Songs was also an ode to my culture and the music I was brought up on, like not at home so much, but with my friends, like a bit of R&B, bashment, dancehall, like more like, I guess, like black rhythms, you know, because I'm biracial, so I'm just like in a constant like fucking crisis, you know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
About like,
is your mom white or your dad?
My mom is Spanish and white, and my dad is Jamaican.
Okay.
But I was raised by a Bayesian man. So I'm even more confused because I
Okay.
have like different sides of like the Caribbean coming at me that are very like opposing islands.
Very competing.
Yeah. It's like I'm Jamaican in my DNA, but I'm...
But Jamaican, I mean, come on. Jamaican culture obviously reigns supreme. I'm just saying across all cultures, you know, like...
Yeah, it's sick.
You know.
It's great.
Yeah.
I feel it in my blood. It's great.
No respect to your stepdad or anything.
Yeah,
but just, you know, obviously I'm just saying like...
Yeah, but like, yeah, it's great. Like I feel my... like black blood in me. I feel it tangibly, like inside me, and it's like it's
the Spanish blood, that's kind of deep too, though. I mean,
it is.
You know, you think about the Moorish influence and all of that, you know, running through that music, and that's like, it's not something I haven't delved into as much as I you know want to in the future. But you know when I listen to that stuff, it's like incredible. You know?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. There's lots of stuff going on in there. And yeah, Capri Songs was like more of an ode to the rhythms that I think like that I first latched onto maybe as a teenager going out. I went to a lot of like bashment and dancehall clubs and stuff. That was like my first experience of like going to like illegal like nightclubs and stuff like that, was like dancehall clubs.
Were those like cool places to be at that time, or just a place to be? So I don't know what the layout of London's sort of nightlife is.
Well, I'm from the country.
Okay.
So I'm like a country girl, and where I grew up was in a place called Gloucestershire, and there's lots of different pockets. It's a really interesting place because I was born in a place called Cheltenham, which is very white. Very, very, very white. And it's very interesting because it's like, in some ways, when I was growing up there, it is very affluent. And it's known as a commuter's town. So it's where like a lot of middle class people live that commute into London. And it's very beautiful. Like there's a beautiful area called Montpellier, which is like just beautiful buildings and everything is just so. And on the other side of it, there's a very big like lower working class and working class community, and there's a lot of like travelers, and it's a lot of farmers there. And on the other side of it, you know, like it's very raw and it's very working class. And my upbringing was kind of confusing because like my family's very working class and they're from Birmingham, like working class Birmingham, which anyone that's like from Birmingham or from England like knows exactly what that means. But I think Birmingham's an amazing place. It's often left out of the conversation a bit of the UK, but I think it's a place that's very rich in culture, and I think it's a place that's like there's like a really big Indian and Asian community there, and a really big black community there. Cheltenham is this one place, but then Gloucester, which is very close, it's just like 15 minutes away, and then Bristol, which is very close, it's maybe like half an hour, 45 minutes away, is very rich in black culture, and specifically Caribbean culture. And it's a lot of people that have come straight from the Caribbean, like have been there. And then this is basically where like trip hop like laid its roots. So this is like where Tricky's from, Portishead, this type of like music, and music that it's like trip hop, but then also kind of a lot of dub as well, and jungle really like laid its roots in these areas. There was this bus that went from Cheltenham to Gloucester, and for me at 14 this bus was like a fucking godsend, because I went from this area where I was the only black person in my area other than like my stepdad. I could get this bus after school, like 20 minutes, and I was around then something completely different. People that were from like the island I'm from, you know, or half of me is from. And so when I first started going out, like there was this club called the Jamaican Club that was like an illegal kind of like, I guess, I don't know, a lot of like Rastas would go there and play dancehall, bashment, reggae, and just like sit and hang, and there would be food, and you would just go and like smoke and chill and dance. And these are the nightclubs that I first started like frequenting as a teenager. Anyway, so when I made Capri Songs, it was kind of like an ode to that side of me.
And the idea of it coming out more as a mixtape than an album, was that always the intention? It was to experiment and then release something that didn't feel as definitive as an album?
Yeah, because it's like not really finished, Capri Song. It's not like exactly finished, I would say. It's like something that was like made. But it's same with Afterglow. You know, like Afterglow is like not exactly finished.
I'm shocked that you said, I don't even know if we were recording then, but you said you made that very quickly.
I made it in 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
Pretty much, yeah, bar like 1 or 2 songs.
For some reason, it really does sound like of a piece with...
Does it?
To me, it sounds like related enough that I thought maybe they were created at the same time, you know?
No, I made Afterglow because I wanted to like have a strike so I could get off one of my record labels. I didn't want to be like totally, because like I really like respected that label, and I didn't want to be like totally disrespectful and give them trash, because I know some artists do that. They just think, oh, whatever.
There's another Frank Ocean move.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I didn't want to do that because I respect them and we've had a really good journey together. But I have this one song that for me is like one of the most beautiful songs that I've written, and I want it to come out this year, and I needed to own the masters to that song.
Oh wow.
And in like my record label, because I was on 2 record labels, so on the one that I'm still on now, I get my masters back,
which is
Atlantic.
Okay.
Yeah, so on that, like in a time frame that I deem as acceptable, I get those masters back. And this one song on the record, it's like, you know, for me it's like a cellophane, not in sound but in how important it is to me and how important the lyrics are to me. You know, because when you're an artist and you don't own your masters, it's like painting and giving away paintings, and you never get them back. But when you own your masters, then even if they live in a different gallery for a minute, you say, yeah, sure, you can put my work in your gallery for like 10 years, that's fine.
Right.
But then in 10 years, I get to take that work and I get to hang it back in my living room. And it can just be in my little living room in Hackney. And I just get to hang it on the wall. And I get to say, like, that's my work. You know, that's
incredible.
That for me is like very important psychologically.
And obviously, I mean, that's not on many people's radar when you're starting out. Like, that's not...
I didn't even know what masters were.
Yeah.
No one even told me what masters or copyright were. I was like... I was like, okay.
Well, it's incredible you're getting them back then, or you're in a situation where you're able to get to a point where, you know.
My new music now, I get them back. But I think that's the thing, you know, going back to when I started making music, it's not anything bad about my old label. It's just that deals looked different then.
Yeah.
And I signed a deal that had like many records in it. And so now like it's more normal that artists like keep their masters, or maybe even have like shorter record deals, which means that you can make choices, that you do a record and you decide if you want to stay together or you decide if it's time to move on and stuff like that. But it's really, you know, I'm always very careful that I want to be like very respectful to the relationship I had with Beggars and Young, because genuinely like I had a fab time.
Yeah. It's a great label. I mean,
it's a great
wonderful
label.
Artists and
Exactly, but it's just at a certain point, like I grew to a point where, you know, if I write a song like Cellophane, or if I write certain music that has changed my life, that's had like a visceral effect on my chemistry as an artist, and then I write that thing and it's sitting in front of me, and then I have to kind of like, you know, at a certain point after over a decade of making music, like it's stunting. People don't really think about the psychological effect of contracts on artists.
What's the new song called?
Bluebird.
And do you know as you're writing it that it's that important? Is there feeling to you, or is it only after the fact and after you have a bit of distance?
At the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it might not mean anything to anyone else, I don't know, but like to me sometimes I write things and it's like so about my life.
So you knew where that was coming from as it was coming out.
Yeah.
And do you always know where things are coming from?
No. Like sometimes I think I have moments of being like a really like special, precious artist where I've done something and I feel like I'm so grateful that I was able to be a conduit for that moment. And I feel really like, wow, I'm so grateful to be alive in this body and like have just made that. It almost makes me emotional. And then sometimes I'm like having fun, or sometimes it's just like, you know, like just a little like flirtation and it's like not that deep, you know, but I need both because that's my personality.
I feel like that personality comes through in a lot of your music. Like when you're making Capri Songs, you were trying to just see if you could just stick with like like a drum loop that was like that's it. Like your songs expand and contract and move, and like they're just malleable in these really cool ways that not a lot of people make songs like that anymore. Not a lot of people make records that way. They're like that feel that adventurous from like we're within one song, you've gone on a complete journey. And then when you think about some of the lyrics of some of these songs too, is like you can tell there's a seriousness sometimes and then there's a play, like all of those. I feel like that does come through, I think, in your music.
Thank you. Well, that's my personality. I'm like either like very serious and very like intense, or I'm just like a kid.
Yeah.
And just so playful and silly. It's like silly.
My favorite Prince song is I don't know what my favorite is, but one of my favorites is Ballad of Dorothy Parker. There's a line where he says, or he's like, he's met this woman. She's like, do you want to like go take a bubble bath? And he's like, yeah, but I'm going to leave my pants on. I always think about that with Prince. I'm like, it's like, it's bold, but it's coy. And it's like, it's like, who does that? There's like, there's so many layers to that.
Yeah, exactly. It's so fun. It's so fun making fun of yourself on songs.
Why is that? Like, what makes that?
So it feels like an in-joke with yourself. Like, I don't know, like I'm even just thinking of like on Sushi, because I'm like I can't drive yet. I still can't drive. So I'm like on this song, like being like a boss, saying like I'm gonna take you out to all these different places, but like I can't drive yet, so I'm gonna have to get my friend to come and pick you up so that we can go out. Like, I don't know, it's like it's only funny to me, but it's just funny sometimes to just like make fun of yourself, or sometimes reveal a really intimate secret that people might not pick up on.
It's funny you brought up Sushi was a song that made me think of Ballad of Dorothy Parker, because there are those moments of like it's bold, but it's also a little like
Yeah.
I said that and I'm gonna pull it back. Or even you're like, like, oh, we could have. I don't remember the line exactly, but we're gonna have sex. We could have sex, but we don't have to. But also, I like exactly. That. It's just like, what are we doing here? It's just like, are we? Aren't we? What's going on? Like, what's going?
It's like we're adults. We can do what we like.
Yeah.
Like we can do what we want to do.
Yeah. It's just a really funny framing for that. And it's just a framing you don't hear a lot in the contours of pop music. Yeah,
it's fun. So it's fun. To be honest, it's funny that you bring up Prince, because when I was writing that first part of Sushi, I actually thought about him when I was writing it. It's just about like that playfulness and acknowledging like the power play of like being a star, whilst also leaning into like that you can still be so shy and vulnerable. It's like this double thing of like, I'm gonna fucking fly you to Paris / like I can't drive, so my friend's gonna get you actually from the airport. It's kind of like this power play of like knowing as a star you can like do what you like, but also you're still like so prohibited and essentially like a kid moonlighting as an adult still, but in like a fab outfit. And you've had like full glam, but you still have no idea what you're doing.
Sounds like that's a great life. That's it.
It's weird.
I read that raves were really important to this album.
Yeah.
And I imagine raves in Europe, it was specifically Prague. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've never even gone to a rave here, to be honest. So I have no conception of what rave culture is like. But what is it like? What's alluring about it to you? And how did that work its way into this album or these couple of projects?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been very scared of like a 4/4 beat, Even I think in the past, like mocked it. I mean, I used to mock like trap hats. I used to be like... I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, especially around like LP1 era, like the hats are always like changing, like even like BPM. And I'd always just be like, I don't want like a straight like like I don't want something that's really, really straight. And I used to say like that, you know, like I don't want like a fall to the floor beat. Like I want this kind of like abstract landscape. So the idea that I based a whole album off like techno, which is like that's the premise of techno, is like actually so humbling to me, and it just shows kind of how your taste can change. And yeah, I didn't ever really think that techno music was for me, and then I started to discover techno first of all in Prague, and then second of all like in like queer spaces that were more inviting for me, and I found my way in. I don't know, and maybe it's like being black, like sometimes I felt like certain types of music aren't for me. I mean, I literally did an interview earlier and I was speaking about this, and maybe sometimes I felt that like I couldn't like listen to that because it's like not like I'm not allowed to, or like there's not an in for me in the scene because like I can't wear skinny jeans or something because my thighs are too big. I don't know. But like, do you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like that, the preconceived notions of being like a teenager and thinking like, I think I have to have like straight hair pushed to the side to be able, I mean, I'm from like MySpace era. I have to like be able to like do that, to like listen to like emo music.
I had a metal band in the MySpace era, so I get you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like naively, I thought that techno wasn't for me, and then I started to like do my research and obviously learned that, you know, dance music like has had so many incredible like black pioneers in the whole like Chicago scene. And I remember like when I went to Prague and I had this sort of spiritual awakening in this club, and then I went back home and then I started to research like house music and Chicago and all these incredible DJs, and I just was like, how did I not know about this? I was like, I didn't know, you know, I didn't know. And then I started to dive deeper and deeper, and I still, even with dance music, like on EUSEXUA, and even on Afterglow, I feel like I've still not quite like invented this music or done this music that I feel in my head. So it's really fun to keep on like trying.
It's just like an iteration. This is like the first.
Yeah, exactly. It's like now I can keep on playing with dance music. And then recently I've been listening to a lot of acid house, which
is like, how does that relate to like, how's that different from the regular house?
I don't know. I'm not very good with like the technicalities of like genres, but to me like acid house, it feels more cunty. There's more of like a stank to it. It feels like walking down a catwalk, or it feels like something that's like, I don't know. I mean, last night I was like doing like a fitting for a red carpet, and then it was like acid house, but then it was like a Mugler like fashion show, and seeing how like the models like walked to it and stuff. And I was like, I understand that, like physically I understand that language, and that was very inspiring. But anyway, back to Prague, like I just had this massive epiphany of togetherness on a dance floor in a different way that was very singular, because going to bashment clubs in the early noughties was about like winding, it was about grinding, it was about like doing movements that were the same. There were like, you know, like dance movements that you would do like together, and you would like learn the dance movements, and then you would get together on the dance floor and communally do them, like the candy dance, but in a different genre. You would do this part of that dance to this music. Techno's different because you're by yourself, and it's actually maybe like unorthodox to like try and invite people.
You don't dance with other people?
No, you do, but it's like it's like surfing. There are rules in dance clubs. Like
surfing, you said?
Yeah, there's rules of waves in surfing. Like you don't, like the way that surfers navigate the waves is very respectful. Like, you don't just go and like take that wave.
Yeah, right.
I don't just go to a beach I've never been before and be like, that's a big wave, I'm going to take it. It's like there's like an order of things. There's like that the better surfers might take that wave where you've had your turn, and then you give someone else a thing, and there's a respect to it. That is the way the best dance clubs work, where there's a respect to the way you would approach someone on the dance floor, or you wouldn't, because you see that they're in their like flow state, or they're like, you know, like it's called like tunneling. Like you like tunnel to the music, where you're just like in your like,
you just look tunnel, like you look like you're zoned
you're
out.
Just like, you know, because it's primal, you know, like to do the same movement over and over again, it's very primal. And so sometimes you just have to like respect that people are like working out their own fucking like thing. But it's also very together. But that's what Room of Fools was about. Like this Room of Fools, we make something together. It's like if you separate one of the dancers in the club, they look crazy because they're like moving, and it's not about looking good. It's just about like moving and feeling something, and it's quite like sporadic, and it's full of ecstasy, and it's very like primal, and it's like very practical. You wouldn't like wear heels to a rave. Do you know what I mean? It's like you wouldn't wear something uncomfortable. It's about being comfortable.
Got it.
It's about like the utilitarian nature of what it is to move together. And that's priority. It's almost kind of like comfort within your body to the beat.
Wow.
Whereas, yeah, like you just wouldn't like interject someone's moment, but at the same time, the whole crowd is moving together as one. So it's very beautiful. It's like you're like an amoeba and you're all cells, and together you're like a very important community. When I go like raving, I think like this right now is quite possibly the most important moment in culture. This rave right now, with the drop, the way that the fucking DJ just brought in those hi-hats and the way that the crowd responded, is quite possibly the most important thing that has ever happened in history in this room right now. But it's just like completely contained.
That's amazing.
It's like completely contained, but something will happen and everyone's just like, that is exactly what I wanted to happen in the music.
Wow.
And you just see the relief, the physical relief that fucking hi-hat came in. You're just like, thank God, I've been waiting for 7 minutes. I've been like listening to that 4/4 drum. My body has been a slave to that drum for 7 minutes, and now a hi-hat has come in, and this surely is heaven. Like this is surely the best thing that's ever happened in the whole world. But it's just like contained to this one room, and no one knows about it. And the next morning you can't even really explain it, you know? That I probably sound mental.
No, I'm ready to go tonight. It's Friday
know
night.
What I'm talking about.
We got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, who knows? Anyone else? No.
Nick, Ben.
Nick, yeah, Nick knows.
No, fuck, I'm missing out.
Yeah, everyone knows.
I'm missing out.
Yeah, but there are spaces for everybody, you know. There's spaces for everybody, and that's what I realized, that there's spaces for me.
It's fucking wild, but in Prague of all places, this is where.
Well, not really. It's like East Block. I don't know. Like it's kind of a pioneer. Like actually, it's actually like a very important to dance music, and like Europe has like an incredible dance scene.
I'm ready to go rave.
Honestly, it's really good. It's very it makes you like not really care.
Can you be sober?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh my God, 100%.
Really?
I didn't think so, but then actually you can.
Really?
Yeah, you really can. Yeah, I can totally go and be completely sober.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got too many responsibilities to be out there doing ecstasy and shit.
Yeah,
you know,
no, you can totally
pushing 40
go.
out there doing ecstasy at a rave. I don't know.
No, you can totally go and be sober. Like it's amazing sober.
I'm gonna dip my toes in.
Yeah,
I'm gonna dip my toes in. Well, it was great speaking with you. This was like an incredible conversation. I went many places. Okay, I feel like I'm better for having had it. And I can't wait to hear, what was the new song called?
Bluebird.
I can't wait to hear Bluebird.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear that.
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Great.
Thanks for checking out Broken Record on YouTube. If you want to listen to us on the go, be sure to subscribe to Broken Record wherever you listen to podcasts.